Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined as always by Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we are recording here on a Thursday night for you guys with 6 games on Friday night slate. In this one, we're taking a look at the Lake Show. They are playing host to those Toronto Raptors on that big road trip, who feel like they got jobbed. Really excited to talk about some of the stuff that's been going on with the Raps in this one. Also got another game video up for you and our player props, so make sure to like and subscribe to that page. We are on our way to another hot night of the player props here on Thursday night, so definitely follow along with us. Also head to thelines.com. You can check out all the great written content we have up there. Nate and I throwing the picks on thelines.com for you guys, as well as Mo Nuara, our buddy who has a couple picks each day throughout the week as well. And we also have that odds finder tool up there I want to tell you guys about. Again, make sure you're getting the best odds available by using that odds finder tool, seeing all the bets that these U.S. sports books are giving you guys. Nate, let's go ahead and tell everyone about this 6-game slate and then talk about this game that we don't love to talk about, the Raptors, but we will. And after that, we'll talk about the Lakers with them as well.
I'll talk about the Raptors. I mean,
all right.
I got no problem. I got no beef with them at the moment, but yeah, we got a couple of immediate rematches here. Hawks at Wizards after beating them by 2 on Wednesday. It's a pick 'em there in Washington. The other game we break down, Blazers are +9 at Philly. Total open pretty low at 229, considering the situation there. We are on that over. Nuggets -12 at the tanking Spurs. Then the Cavs in an immediate rematch at Miami, -1.5, low total of 213 there. Nets are on a back-to-back. They're +5 in Minnesota after resting some guys in Milwaukee. And then the Raptors are slight underdogs here, +1, although you can get the Lakers as underdogs some places. And it's a 224 total. You definitely got to lean under right now for the Anthony Davis Lakers. The pace is completely different. I mean, they were trending towards an under team, which we've talked about for a while, but since Braun went down, the pace has changed, and the defense has been what they have to hang their hat on. It's not like they have a choice, but 4 games now, Anthony Davis just carrying them 34 points per game, 14 rebounds, but 5 turnovers to 3 assists per game. And you introduce now D'Angelo Russell, who some are not that fond of. Some have called, not me, but some have called the worst two-way player who gets consistent minutes in the NBA.
Name names.
Yeah. It's, what Simmons' buddy.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Russillo.
Thank you. But yeah, his last 3 against Toronto have not been great. 15 points per game, 32% field goal shooting. And AD, while he hasn't played them in a couple seasons, when he was at his prime, 6 games against Toronto, scoring under 20 a game, under 40% shooting, and again, a poor rating. Now, if this iteration of Toronto, they have even more options to throw at him in terms of Scotty Barnes and Jakob Poeltl. There's a lot of length and defense on this team. And really, I come back to the fact that those 2 guys who are the primary options for the Lakers are a bit turnover prone. And right now, since they've lost Braun, right, they're giving up. They're near the worst in the league in terms of giving points off turnovers and giving up fast break points. And as we know, that's what Toronto needs to survive.
Yep.
That's what they need to thrive. They're coming off these 2 frustrating wins where they looked like they were going to beat end Denver's home win streak. And then Scotty Barnes got tossed by Scott Foster himself, and then, according to one man's opinion, that being Fred VanVleet, Ben Taylor and the ref crew were screwing them at the Clippers. I mean, I think really they just got beat by a Clippers team that's starting to round back into form. Here, the Lakers, I'm not willing to just say that like they're a contender at this point. I mean, AD has had transcendent performances to carry them to a few wins here. They've still gone way under. They've gone under in 7 of their last 8 with him active. They've gone under in 6 straight at home with a 107 defensive rating. And there's nothing to really indicate with Toronto that you'll get a ton of points, except for the fact that when they've beaten the Lakers in 3 of the last 4 here, 3 of those games have gone over. Sort of an abnormal lift in terms of free throws for Toronto in scoring. But, 2 of those games, recent meetings, were played at the blazing pace that the Russell Westbrook and LeBron Lakers brought to the table. Still, one of those, the last one, in LA at crypto only got to a 217 total, despite being a 101.5 pace. And right now in their last four, the Raptors are 28th in pace at just like 94. Yeah. So I mean, a poor half court offense. It's a Lakers offense that I don't think is really on track yet. It's just a lot of throwing it into Anthony Davis and hoping for the best. And look, if he's not transcendent, I don't think they're going to be scoring that much, and I don't think they're necessarily going to be able to pull out this win against a Toronto team that's pretty fired up, I think, about the way the last two games finished.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to tell everybody what the quote was because I think it's one of the greatest quotes in post-game history. Fred VanVleet gets on the mic, and shame on the media members who asked the question, Fred, what did you think of the refereeing tonight? And it's like, I mean, not shame on you. You're getting a good quote, but I'm just saying, it's what you're getting. You're either going to get the quote to fine him or you're not. And Fred goes, I'll take the fine. He was effing terrible tonight, and he didn't say effing. And yeah, I think I'm look, Scott Foster, all that. I'm not even necessarily going to get into it. I do believe in the feistiness of the Raptors, everything about them, and the way that they embody Nick Nurse, the things that they're good at, the way that the style that they play is dogged, if you will. So I mean, yeah, I love the idea of them having extra momentum and motivation to come out and win this game, and that's what I would do. +1, whatever, just take the money line and get those basically even odds for them to win this game. The 224.5, like I would lean under for sure. Like you're saying, that's where I would lean. I wish it was a little higher, just like a few points. I'm not saying tease it, maybe tease it. I don't know. You kind of have me on that one. This is another example of like I kind of like the tease just because the 224 is fair, as Mo would say. And so if I can gain a little bit of advantage by shifting that line, like it seems worth it because of how close of a game I think this is going to be anyway. I think there's some fun bets. Like I said, we're recording this on Thursday night, so I don't have available to me things that I might like to look at, like the Raptors to win by 1 to 5 points, or taking that as well as the Lakers to win by 1 to 5 points and keeping this thing close. And then I'm both of those bets would get me enough plus money that you think this game's going to be pretty close in that sense. I do think AD is going to eat. I know he's got some bad numbers, and we'll talk about this more in our player props video for Friday, but like his bad numbers against the Raptors come at a different time on different teams with different styles in situations that didn't include with and without LeBron James playing. And when LeBron's not playing this season, especially in these last 5 that he has been out since that injury against the Mavis, AD's just going nuts. Like even if he's only got 5 rebounds in one game, he's got 39 points. If he's only got 3 rebounds in the other game, he's got 38 points. So I feel really good about him being able to get also 22 boards the other night in another game, right? So like I think there's plenty of reason to feel good about him still getting his. The Raptors cannot stop centers. They got Pirtle to be able to do better around the rim, and like he has to a degree, except for that opposing centers are still scoring the second most points against the Raptors in the exact amount of time since Pirtle's been there. So do with that what you will, because they were actually better at guarding that position before he got there. I still argue that he's made them a better team, so I'm not trying to say that at all. But I do think it's still a good position for the Lakers to lose here because of the stats that matter as we talk about versus the Raptors. Since LeBron went down in these last 5, the Lakers are the only thing they're not doing that they should be doing better at is guarding the fast break there. That's the only thing that they're actually like not awful at in their last 4, but the Raptors aren't really scoring from the fast break in their the last 4 that they've been on the road. Interestingly enough, like that's not where they're getting their points from. They are getting them off turnovers. They swarm you, still getting the second most in the league off of turnovers, still getting in the top 5, 4th most second chance points as they played these last 4 games on the road as well. And then points in the paint, not necessarily their forte, but they have been still scoring the 7th most, the highest percentage of their points off of 2-pointers. Like point being, they're still not going to shoot threes, and that's not going to be, and that's a place that the Lakers have actually been pretty good on defense, as we know, since they've gotten that help on the wing since the trade deadline. and a little bit before with Rui. So, that's not where the Raptors really worry about getting points from. I think that helps them in this game. Like everything that they want to do, I think they can do. Obviously, second chance points is something that the Lakers are limiting pretty well because AD is just eating up every single defensive rebound. And I think that'll continue to be the case, even though I know there's a ton of guys crashing the boards. I'm not worried about dudes 6'7" and shorter crashing the boards on 6'11" AD as he's going up and getting those rebounds. And really, he's over 7 feet tall now. So, anyway, I like what he's going to be able to do with these rebounds and points. One of the two or both of them are going to get him over what I think his prop is going to be tonight. But I still think the Raptors are in a good situation with a pretty pissed off nature that's going to lead them to be able to win the game.
Yeah, the one thing of concern, though, is that the free throw discrepancy, that the Raptors do not get to the line at all recently, and that they're also giving up the fourth highest free throw rate. And that's where the Lakers are scoring the highest percentage of their points since losing Bron. That's where AD thrives. But, when these teams get together, those numbers kind of look different, that the Raptors get 9 more free throw attempts than we're talking about right now, that they actually out-rebound the Lakers, that they, that's how they've been able to beat them in 3 of the last 4. It's kind of like a Hollywood versus Slumwood or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever chip on their shoulder they have
Right.
up in Toronto. They've the North, and Hollywood is certainly not. And they come to play against this team and with the identity of Van Fleet and Scotty Barnes bringing his lunch pail in 3 against the Lakers, 22 points, 14 rebounds. I think he's going to be a factor as well. After a really nice game against the Clips. No travel involved, by the way, as they just play another game here in LA. So, yeah, I'm leaning Raptors. Let's make producer Dan happy and get them the win here on Friday night.
It's so weird that this is like a grit and grind team when Toronto's like this beautiful, wildly clean metropolitan area in Canada. But like this is like a dirty, nasty, get after it team that like gets hustle points because they also have one of the worst, if not the worst, half court offense in the league, right? Which doesn't really matter because they're going to try to get out and go. And I think they'll be able to get some of those fast break points, enough to at least like get the win. But it will be kind of gross. There's not going to be much offensive flow either to the Lakers, who are also kind of getting those gross points. They're still really not hitting threes, even with the addition of Malik Beasley. We know D'Lo's been out. Maybe he gets a little bit warmer from 3 to, in this game on Friday night against the Lake Show, but I really don't see it. So like, I would still tease maybe an under with the Raps in this one. They can lose by 3 or they can lose by 5 points, and this game can go under 229. Like, I actually feel really good about it, and I would, I'll go ahead and suggest it at this point. So that's all the time we have for you in this one, though. Definitely make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Also got another game video up for you and our player props. So until we see you next, happy betting.